I thought I would go live instead of trying to put together this, like, put together a video. So, with that being said, I wanted to talk about like some first week procedures. If you are a first year teacher, welcome in. If you are a teacher's assistant, welcome in. Either way, welcome in anyone who joins the live. So, I had just like about 27 things that we can talk about really quickly when it comes to the first week of school. So, here on this channel, I talk about things related to teaching assistant. Um, Teaching assistants do a lot. We do a lot. So we also do exactly what the teachers do. We just don't do lesson planning. I've talked about that before. So um, a lot of the first week procedures of being in the classroom is going to be very crucial because these are the first 2, 3 to 6 weeks that you are getting to know the children. They're getting to know you. You're trying to build up those relationships. So the first thing that I want to talk about is like getting to know all about me. So your students are going to want to get to know all about you. Like they're gonna want to know like about your married life, you have kids, house, family, how long you've been teaching, what grades you've been teaching, and then of course they also like to know stories of if you've taught any other grade, like kids in any other grade. Of course, like just let them know, everything it is that you want them to know about you. And the good thing is, and like the funny thing is, these kids listen to everything you say and they go home and tell their parents all about you. So, number two is morning procedures. Some of the morning procedures that you definitely want to talk about within the first week. I know sometimes some schools normally either start on a Wednesday and then do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or they might just start fresh on a Monday, and then again, some might start on a Thursday. But like I said, part of the morning procedures is, like I said, something that you definitely want to like establish the procedure for. So morning routines, unpacking your bag, like literally like explain to them how you want them to unpack their bag. Do you want them to get breakfast, unpack their bag, and then come in the classroom, or get breakfast, come in the classroom, and then unpack their bag? It's totally up to you. So just unpacking their bag is a way, to tell them morning procedures. Of course, like their lunch choice, what are you picking? I think that it's also best to have it labeled to build independence. So that way they can come in and like put their name on pack side or whichever lunch choice there is. And then there's no more, like there's no changing after you've entered lunch count. I think that's a lot of the problem in the cafeterias nowadays. Like we don't want to waste food, but at the same time, like if you need lunch, just say it. And I know a lot of cafeterias are really great about having extras handy. So morning procedures, you can also talk about the jobs. There might be classroom jobs that the kids can have. So that's just something that you want to work on if you're going to implement jobs into your classroom. Of course, morning work and announcements. Morning work is like something like you want to establish the things that they can do in the morning once they get off the bus, once they come in from breakfast, and once they have unpacked. So the morning work can literally like consist of like little coloring worksheets or math or literacy, whichever of your choice. I typically like to do like a packet. That way it's actually review, and I don't really implement that until like closer towards the end of like the first quarter. Announcements is like, you're going to give the expectations of how you want the children to listen to announcements, like while eating breakfast, watching the announcements, you know, finish up, blah, 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 blah. So next I want to talk about backpack and lunchbox placements. If you have a place in your classroom for the lunch boxes and for backpacks, that's something that you want to implement too. Like the first day is probably like the crucial day where they're there with you guys from, let's just say 7:35 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. You want to make sure that they know where to put their backpacks, where to put their lunch boxes. Um, Number 4 is entering and leaving the classroom quietly. Now, that is definitely a procedure that you want to enforce because not everyone is on the same schedule as you. And what I mean by that is you could be on a hallway with second graders, you could be on a hallway with third and fourth graders, however it is. You want to make sure that your classroom is lined up and entering and leaving the classroom quietly because these are things that they are going to have to implement basically for the rest of their lives, through school, like through elementary school, middle school, and high school. So these are things that you want to implement with them. Now, bathroom and water is my next one, and that's something that you want to like implement on. If you have older kids, of course, they're probably going to have to ask to use a pass to take to the bathroom or sign in and out. And that's totally fine. But like implement these things with those kids because the younger ones can just easily go into the bathroom. Um, and I think that this year, what I do want to implement is like a sign. And this sign is going to help like a student know someone is in here. Of course, first knock, listen, and then, like proceed to go in if no one answers. But most of the time, you'll know if someone's in there because the door is shut. But this time, I want to implement like the fact that someone has to be independent enough to like move like the little Velcro strip. Yes, someone is in here. No, someone is not in here. Out like so that way we know what is what. My next first week procedure tip idea is to have student numbers. So student numbers could be used for like fire drills. It could be used for lining up in line. So whether you choose to do like alphabetical order by last name or whether you choose to do it by alphabetical order of the first name, it's totally up to you. But I think student numbers really do help and count, especially to build up that independence for lunchtime. Student numbers really do help too. How to line up is another great first week procedure because you're teaching them how to get in line. You're teaching them how to stand quietly, how to, tuck your chair in, push your chair in, how to get in line order, and keeping your hands to yourself. Those are just some of the like crucial things that you have to teach when learning how to line up the first week of school. So next you have hallway behaviors. Like you need to implement like that we need to have safe bodies, we need to be respectful, we need to be responsible for ourselves. But being safe, responsible, and respectful are the three key pieces to hallway behaviors because a teacher could be walking in the front, she could be walking in the back. You want to make sure that everything is copacetic with that. The next first week procedure I have like that you guys should really talk about is fire, lockdown, tornado drill expectations. Of course, being silent and listening, and of course to practice those even before like you guys really start practicing them. I would start practicing them like and showing them on the first day. It kind of gives them an idea of like what it's going to be like coming up, and they'll at least be ready for it. So next is just something that I like to say, the word champs. We want to enforce that everyone in this classroom is going to be like, playing together, working together, collabing together. So if one person wins a game, it doesn't mean like it's no need to cry, it's no need to be upset. It's just let's continue to play and get better and better at understanding what it is we're playing or whatever. So that's just something that I threw in there because I experienced that for the first time this year where I had a student who was very unhappy every single time that he lost something or if he didn't win, which like it was no competition, but that's just how it was. The next expectation that I have for the first week is like classroom expectations, which is also expected behavior in other places in the school. So your classroom expectation of how you act in the hallway, how you act in this classroom or any other classroom is all the same. All of the like places in the school are gonna all hold the same expectations, and that's like being safe, responsible, and respectful. So just like having the classroom expectations of like classroom rules And you could even include your children by getting them to sign, like your classroom rules at the bottom so that they know that they understand. And in case you run into any problems, you can always, reflect back on that. So that'd be really good. We like doing that. I think we did that the last 2, 3 years where you do rules of the classroom. The children have to sign it saying that they understand the rules, and then you can always reflect back, like, hey, you signed those rules, blah, 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 blah. The next thing for first week procedures that I want to talk about is like attention getters. Attention getters are one of the main things to a classroom. Um, I think that they're really great to use. I think that they are like a great asset for getting their attention in a positive way instead of yelling, of course. But some of the ones that like we like to use is if you can hear me clap, or you can do quite a few. It's like I said, it's just really depending on what you like to do. So like you could do for attention, class, yes, they yell back, yes, yes. You could do macaroni and cheese, everybody freeze is what they say. You can say hands on top, and then everybody says everybody stop. Or you can do eyes and ears on me in 3, 2, 1. And then of course you can do some spelling, Listen, listen, and they have to say the word. So like, in other words, if you need things like refocusing, you could say hocus pocus, and then the students say everybody focus. You could do tootsie roll lollipop, and they're gonna say we are talking, so now we'll stop. um it's like some cute ones that you can do. Holy moly, guacamole, what's up? It's all good. You could do what are we here for? And then they say to learn. So these are just some little small attention seeker and refocusing, call it out type of things that you can do to get the attention of your class. So another first week procedure thing you want to do is like talk about the off limits areas. The off limit areas are always going to be the teacher's desk, the cabinets, and then probably like behind areas that you don't want the kids to go to. So like just briefly talk to them about the places that you don't want them to go to inside of the classroom. Um, and then switching classes. That's another great procedure to focus on. I know that the younger age groups do not switch because they are in elementary school, but when you get to like middle school, you do switch. So I would say the best thing to do if you guys are ever doing like coherating and like collabing with other grade level classrooms is to insist like, be prepared, be quiet, be quick, like get in line. You guys are gonna, like it's just a way to show like that you're preparing them for the future. Another thing is like behavior tracking. Keeping track of behavior is definitely like something that you want to do because you're going to want to have that data built up, from, now I'm not going to say just day one, but you are going to want to have like a way to behavior track. I do it all the time. I either take like a composition notebook or a notebook, regular notebook, and then, just write down anything that happens. That way I can always reflect back to it. So some rules and consequences, rewards are great things if you do choose to do those. Rules, of course, is something that you have to talk about day one. Probably like that's the first thing you do. That's the first thing you plan to do. Consequences is great too because you're like telling the kids ahead of time these are the consequences if this happens, and at least they kind of like will know what's gonna happen. So rewards. So like if you do choose to do rewards, that's great too. But like if you're going to implement that, I would either say like start from day one of school or day one of coming back from Christmas break. It's just like don't do it in the middle of the year because it will confuse the kids and confuse yourself. So binders. Binders, I say definitely helps with like your first week, because not only can you keep data in there, but you can also like, um, like have a honest teacher check thing going on in there. And then getting teachers' attention, that's something that you definitely want to enforce like within the first 2 weeks. Like raising your hand, waiting your turn, not talking when a teacher is talking to like another teacher, just in case there's like a problem or something like that. Like just wait your turn, hold on. Getting the teacher's attention is like one of the main things that a lot of kids have to work on with raising their hand, waiting their turn. Mutual listening is another one, because when someone else is talking, you want to make sure that that student is listening so that they can, be respectful, and hear out what that student has to say. Recess behaviors, that is something that you definitely talk about before going to recess, but then again, it can travel with you to recess. I think that talking at recess as a whole group definitely works, because you can get everyone around in a circle and just talk about like what the rules of recess are going to be like and what they're not going to be like. And of course, like, um, with visitors in the classroom, this is a good first week procedure as well. Visitors in the classroom is one of the best ways to show kids how this is going to go. If like an adult comes in the classroom and they're just coming around, or an administrator or whatever, I would definitely say like to talk to them about like, hey, if we have someone come in, I want you to keep working. I want you to keep doing your best. I want you to keep doing whatever it is you need to do. And then of course, like just continue to get your work done. Like if they ask you a question, like, okay, cool, yeah, respond back to them. But let's make sure that we're working as usual. And then of course, like turning work in, you want to make sure like you're giving them the procedure of where to turn the work in. You can create a turn in bin with literally like just a little tray bin, and you can label it if you want to. And then again, I would do 2 bins of 2 different colors, one for a turn in bin and then one for a finish later. That way, in case they don't have like slots on the back of their chair where all their belongings stay at, then it's easy for you as the teacher to see who still needs to finish something, and they can always come back to it. And then, of course, pencils, like pencils, keeping up with pencils. I love the idea of the jars where it says sharpen please, or sharpen and ready, to be used. However you want to put it, it's like 2 jars, and I would do that in 2 different colors as well. So like you could either do a thumbs up, which means these are the ones that are ready to be used, or you can do a thumbs down, which the kids, you would tell them these are the ones that need to be sharpened. So I hope that you all enjoyed watching this live of me doing first week procedures. All I wanted to do was give you guys some first week procedures just in case you are a first year teacher, or just in case you are coming into a position in the school. I definitely am coming back and going live again soon um, with some more videos on like the back to school reality.